Hello, I'm Michael.
I'm Daniel.
And we're Two Tall Gingers. So welcome back to our channel.
Hi.
So in our first episode, if you remember, we talked a little bit about the YouTubers that inspired us to try to do YouTube. And
Without naming any of them.
Right. So we thought, well, this might be a good chance for us to actually talk about the channels and the creators that we watch on a regular basis.
Absolutely. So one of them that we have watched, I think, if not all of their content, pretty damn
all of
close, are Grace Helbig and Mamie Hart.
Yes.
An iconic duo, an iconic trio, the Holy Trinity, as it were, with their dear friend Hannah Hart.
Right. No relation to Mamie.
Right. They are neither sisters nor wives,
No.
as they said once. Or was that Kevin Hart they said that about? Anyways, I don't know about you. I have been a fan of them for a very, very long time. So it's interesting to see the growth and development of all of their lives since before Mamie talked about her dating life all the way through talking about Chip a lot now.
Yeah.
From when Grace was dating Chester C, and then when she was dating Brooks, the other one, and now that she's engaged to
congratulations.
the wonderful Elliot Morgan, who shares a last name with Chip Morgan, no relation. It's strange. It's strange, all of this taken together.
Well, I had never even heard of them until I met you.
There you go.
So you introduced me to them.
So if all y'all out there don't know, we will obviously link to their individual channels and their collective channel down below together. That sentence didn't make any sense, but you know what I mean. Grace is very funny. Mamie is very funny.
Yeah.
Hannah Hart is very funny.
Very
and they
funny.
can also have a lot of interesting sort of insights about life as well. So Grace and Mamie, if you do not know, have a weekly podcast that goes out on all the different podcast places and also on This Might Get, because they had a daily and then thrice weekly show for a while on the internet called This Might Get Weird, and that was the name of their traveling show. So their podcast, This Might Get, or maybe it's called This Might Get Weird, is the name of the podcast, and This Might Get is the channel, I guess. Anyways, they record weekly and shoot the shit about this and that and the other thing. They are always funny.
Yes.
The recurring characters, the overheards that they have, they live much more interesting lives than I do. They don't.
They live in Los Angeles too.
They live in Los Angeles and work in the entertainment space. So they go to auditions and they travel and
they're aspiring actresses.
Right. I mean, they've actresses.
But they've made their own films too.
Both Dirty 30 and Camp Dakota. So we'll put a bunch of links to all of these folks down below, but you gotta go check them out.
For sure.
They go on tour they're going on tour this summer from a postponed one from
They'll be here in Boston in June.
Even though it's sold out. We can get tickets.
We can't go. I'm so bummed.
So bummed. But of course, they're very LGBT friendly. Hannah Hart is now married to a lady.
Yes.
And
they went to school here in Boston.
Yes, and so this is a fun little segue into perhaps the next thing we can talk about, because Hannah Hart's wife was a good friend at Emerson College in Boston, Massachusetts, of Zachary Kornfeld of the Try Guys.
Hopefully you've heard of them. If not, shame on you. We're
You better look at them up down below,
That's right. The Try Guys. Ned, Zach, Eugene, and Keith.
And the Big Mouth one. Or as they used to refer to themselves back in BuzzFeed days. What did they refer to themselves as? Now I can't remember. But there was tall one with glasses, Keith. Short one with glasses,
Zach.
Asian one, Eugene. And for the one for Ned was just a white guy. But I don't know. You want to talk about them since I talked about Grace, Mamie, and Hannah?
Oh, well, I also had never heard of them until I met you.
Well, yeah. So there may be some of you out there who don't know them, but you got to get with it.
Yes.
Okay. We're also, of course, having booze for the boys. Mine came with a paper towel this time. I'm not sure why.
Our cocktail.
Cheers.
Cheers to queers.
Cheers to all the queers. of which Eugene is the only Try Guys queer
That's
that
right.
we know of. No, he's the only one.
He's the only one. And he's very, very open about it. In fact, he made a whole coming out video.
Correct. He's open about it now. Like when
He
it
wasn't
all.
always, but
When I watched them for a long time too, and I think I said you were going to talk about them.
no, we'll do it together.
When they all got started, it was sort of like, I think for anyone who is LGBT, at least for a gay man like me, it was kind of like,
One of them has to be.
Eugene's gay, I suppose.
Yeah.
But he wasn't really sort of open and out about it for quite a while. But anyway, they started at BuzzFeed, and so I was watching them way back in BuzzFuzz. But so what sorts of videos do they make? How would you describe them?
Well, they're called the Try Guys because their whole trope is that they try things. You know, they have a whole wide range of things they try. They've done costume. At Halloween time, they do costume try-ons. They did sexy Halloween costumes, and they did a pumpkin carving one.
They did.
They've done. They did a whole series of when they were inebriated in various ways, of which they could drive a car. Was it drunk and high?
Drunk, high, texting.
While they were texting, and there was 4 of them.
Sleep deprived.
Sleep deprived. And that was very entertaining.
Very interesting, entertaining, and informative. And actually, not to put a spoiler, but just so you all know, the answer they found as a general, like, each of them had ones they were worse at, but in general, the one that was the worst, texting.
Well, Keith and Zach are huge potheads, so they were kind of used to, maybe not used to drunk driving, but, you know, they were used to being in that state. And I guess Eugene and Ned are more of the drinkers of the group.
Right.
So they're used to being in that state, not while driving, but they're used to being in that state.
Right.
So they are both, you know, they each excelled in their own way. And so I guess, texting was the most difficult for them.
But yeah, so they have their own company now, yes?
Yes.
Second Try LLC.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they each have their own sort of types of shows that they do.
Right.
The best known probably is Keith's Eating the Menu.
Eating the Menu.
Which he's done at,
dozens of restaurants.
We should have counted before this. Yeah, probably at least 24 by now, fast food restaurants.
But
where
basically, he just goes in. He goes in and he basically orders everything on the menu. And
one of everything.
Tries it on camera.
A bite or a sip of one of everything.
Of everything, and gives his review of it. And then at the end, he tells you what you like best and what you like least best. And they're entertaining. They're a lot of fun. I'm not sure how he's still alive and functioning. Because most of it's fast food.
It's almost all fast food.
It's almost all fast food.
They just put one out where one of the guests on the show, who was one of the other people that works their company, said that they had high cholesterol. And Keith said, I went to the doctor and they told me that high cholesterol was low.
And he's
and
amazed
Keith was
too.
like, are you shitting me right now? Are you fucking kidding me right now?
He has no clue how this is possible.
No.
Well, I'm sure. I think he has even said in his regular life he's very healthy.
Yeah.
You know, he only does this for film when he does these segments, but still that has to take a toll.
Right. He basically tries to be healthy during the week and then weekends and when he does these, like,
he just lets himself go.
Yeah.
For the purposes of the video.
Right. So via Second Try, there's a number of podcasts as well. The Try Guys themselves have the Tripod, which they've had, I don't know, they must be on episode 150,
They've been around a while.
You know, it's been at least a few years they've been doing that. Their partners have one called You Can Sit With Us.
Yeah.
So that's Ned's wife, Keith's wife, Zach's fiance, and Eugene's partner is on there sometimes too.
Yeah.
Eugene's not super open. We don't know what their status is. Like,
we don't think they're married, but
we don't think so. But they're partners, and they're very cute together.
And the wives also have what's called the Try Wives Wine Time. Is that what they?
Yes. Well, the Try Guys do Try Guys Game Time.
Yeah.
So, sometimes the wives get together and drink wine and do something fun.
Yeah, right.
But so they've tried all sorts of things over the years, and almost all of their shows have been really good. Another individual one, Eugene does Rank King, where he ranks a whole bunch of one thing The first one was Cheap American Beer. And then he worked with Keith's wife, Becky, on
Wine.
Cheap Wine.
Mm-hmm.
So
they were very entertaining, too.
And, of course, Without a Recipe is
oh my gosh,
their
those,
other
I think I like those
series.
I think I like those segments the best of all of what they do. So basically, they're in like this studio kitchen, and they get this subject. So they've done brownies, they've done cheesecake, they've done pizza, they've done all kinds of stuff.
Cake, ice cream cake, pizza.
Without a recipe, like the title says.
So like, not just without a recipe, in other words, like,
no
here's all the ingredients, no instructions at all. Like,
they get a fully stocked kitchen, fully stocked refrigerator.
You're in the kitchen, do something.
Have at it, yeah.
Which is like, kind of terrifying.
It's chaos, but it's fun. It's very funny, very entertaining. I enjoy it.
Very entertaining.
Yes.
So, they put out content twice per week on the main channel.
Right.
And they're also very active on Instagram and all that.
Yeah.
So they're like doing the whole thing. They have a book. We neglected to say. They have a book.
Yes,
Mamrie Hart has 2 books. Grace Eldig has 2 books. Hannah Hart has 2 books.
And Ned and his wife have a cookbook.
Yeah. Eugene's working on some side projects now that sound really cool. So he's like, some of his interests are fashion. Keith's interests are obviously food.
Yeah.
Ned's obviously interested in food. Ned has 2 kids. So, like, I think what I like about both of the 2 sets, the 3 girls, although we watch more of the 2 now because Hannah's doing a lot more her own stuff now, which is also cool. We watch, but what I like about the 3 of them and the 4 of them is that they're a group of friends.
Yeah.
Who clearly, like, if you watch enough of it, there's the in-jokes.
Right.
You'll feel like part of the group, kind of.
Yeah, you do.
And they clearly all care about each other very much. They all do know each other. They've talked about seeing each other out at various
conventions and stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
But I just think it's really nice to watch a bunch of people who all interact well with each other and who were sort of thrown together in some circumstance. Mm-hmm. Right? It's one thing to watch Rhett and Link, who I don't think we're going to talk about because I only watch them a little bit. You don't really watch them.
No.
But they've like been friends since high school, which is very cool and a very neat thing. But the reason the Try Guys all got together, they all worked at BuzzFeed and they happened to be on a shoot together. And that's how it was born. Like
did Grace and Hannah work at BuzzFeed?
No. Hannah's wife did.
Oh.
But I think they just met, through friends when Grace and Mamrie were in New York, and so, it's interesting to how all that can happen. Right. So, and another friendship pair that I didn't know about till I met him are the Brits Joel and Leah.
Yeah,
so you
Joel
can tell
and
their
Leah.
story.
So
we watch a lot of their content.
We watch lots of their content. I found Joel and Leah, probably 5 or 6 years ago.
Early on in the Joel and Leah experience.
Yeah, and I really think they just kind of showed up randomly in my YouTube feed. You know how that happens?
It does.
And I thought, they sound interesting. But, the premise of their show is that they compare British and American culture. And
it's one of the main premises.
It's one of their main things. Their main thing, I think. And I know, I forget now what the first episode was that I saw, why it even attracted me, but I thought, that sounds really cool. Let's click on that, and I really was entertained by them. I enjoyed their banter and how they get along. They're best friends. They met at university, as they would say. They
met at uni.
At uni, yes. They both been to acting school in England. So that's how they met. Aspiring actors. I think Joel does a lot of voice work, which he has a nice voice, so he can do that.
He's gay.
He is gay. He just came out very recently. Maybe maybe a year ago or so. He did come out officially online.
Oh, really? He wasn't out before that?
No, he was not.
Oh, okay. So he was maybe one like Eugene.
Of course, I always thought he was. It's funny. I always figured that he was, but you don't want to assume about anyone. But I always thought that he was. I guess hopeful thinking. But no, I think like he is. But like a year ago, I think he did officially come out. Right. But yeah, no. So it's a straight woman and a gay man from England, best friends since college. and they started this YouTube channel. And yeah, they're very fun, very quirky, very entertaining. And they compare American culture to British culture.
Now they've been traveling a lot.
Yeah,
A lot of
they travel a lot.
vlogs.
Well, they've been around now, and they've got such a strong support group and base of people that they're able to raise funds through Patreon and so forth. That they can go on trips and vlog. They've been to America several times, and then they were just in was it Knoxville, Tennessee? Nashville. They were in Nashville. They were just in Philadelphia just a couple of weeks ago.
They've not that long ago been in Miami.
They were just in
before
Miami.
Christmas, I think.
They were, and we've watched most of their
We've
content.
watched pretty much.
there.
Yeah, pretty much. If they put it up, we probably got to watch it.
But yeah, so check out Joel and Leah for sure. We'll link them down below as well.
Of course.
Yes,
we
for
will.
Sure. And another Brit that I found and I got you on to was Rolly.
Oh yes.
I think he was going by Rolly Ungasha for a while. I don't know. I'm not sure why, but anyway, I love him. He's very fun, very quirky.
Very funny.
Yes, he is, and most of his he's very much into body modification and piercings, which I'm not.
We have to confess that that's quite a lot of his content. It's a bunch of his content, and we don't watch that so much. Because
we don't have piercings. Neither of us have tattoos or piercings.
It's not our thing.
I'm not opposed, but it's not my vibe.
But he also has a bunch of other fun content where he reviews or goes over interesting, strange things from the internet.
And he has a very hot roommate.
He does.
Who is also his best friend, Callum McSwiggan.
Callum.
And they do videos together where people send them like snacks and stuff from all the parts of the world, and they review them online, and it's very fun.
Very funny. Very funny.
And I'm not sure why I started watching Rolly, honestly, but I found him interesting. And
That's
interesting. And he's kind of a cute guy too, I think. It's
And
probably why I
then
clicked on him.
with his friend Luxaria, who is quite trans.
Yes, they have a trans
They have a sort
best
of,
friend, Luxaria.
I guess that's a podcast they do?
Well, she has her own channel, and forgive me, I do not know what it's called, but
it'll
can
be
find
linked
her.
below.
But no, she and Rolly also do videos together.
Like reacting to Reddit "Am I the Asshole" posts, which are always very funny.
And they have one called Gag of the Millennial.
Gag of the Millennial, the Josh Ealing.
Yes, they're very fun.
They're very funny. Because, you guys, if you are in the position where you have to make a post on Reddit's "Am I the Asshole?"
You probably are.
90% of the time, the answer is bound to be yes. Why are you making the post if the answer was no?
Yes.
If you knew the answer was no, you wouldn't need to ask, would you?
And they will tell you.
Oh, yeah.
They will certainly
They
tell
don't
you.
have a trouble talking
Sometimes
openly.
they have disagreed.
Yeah.
Sometimes they've been like, yeah, no, you're not, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of the time they'll be like, yeah, you're the asshole. And
so then, let's see. I was just going to mention that, I used to watch a bunch of Tyler Oakley videos, which I think he always annoyed you a little bit, maybe?
A little bit.
And he could be a little bit annoying, but he had a lot of fun guest stars doing all sorts of fun, silly challenges and stuff.
He's friends with Grace and Mamrie.
It's one of the reasons I found out about Grace and Mamrie, probably, is that they used to be on his channel a fair amount. And I also got connected in through Shane Dawson because he was a guest on Tyler one time, probably. I'm not sure would have found Shane by myself, I don't know, you haven't watched hardly any Shane Dawson, I think, right? So, for those of you that have, let's just acknowledge that Shane is a somewhat polarizing figure.
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
I think I sort of get or understand a lot of him and a lot of what has gotten him in trouble, which is that for many years, he was just trying to make any joke and be as funny about anything. And he sort of didn't care.
Right, trying to be relevant.
Obviously he doesn't, have sex with his cat or, whatever. All of these different things that have come up.
Things for shock value.
Yeah, he did blackface once and, you shouldn't do that. And, but he was just, trying to be funny, And so he ended up doing some things that weren't funny. But, he's had so many different controversies over time that it is a little off-putting.
Yeah.
But thankfully, he seems in a pretty great place now, having moved to Colorado with Ryland, his, I guess, husband now.
Yeah.
I haven't followed them enough lately to know if they get married. I know they get engaged. And so, more power to him.
Sure.
A funny thing that happened one time, early on in my sort of getting into YouTube days, through Tyler's channel, I found either Joey Graceffa or Shane, and they used to collab a lot, right? And they had a video together, and I was like, what a cute gay couple. And at the time, Shane was dating that young lady that he was dating at the time, and Joey Graceffa was not out. And so once I found all that out, I was like, oh, really? They seem like a pretty gay couple to me. And what's funny is that later Joey Graceffa came out and is very gay. Yeah. And Shane has, come out as bi, but is, going to get married to a guy.
Sure.
That annoys me that I can't think of Shane's former girlfriend's name, Lisa. I think it was Lisa. Anyway, she's a YouTuber in her own right too. Anyway, so just a few that I don't watch as much. Yeah. Now, I think we each have some that we are more into than the other. Like you like Casey and Jax. I like Smaj. Yeah. You can describe Casey and Jax. Most people probably know Smaj.
Yeah, Casey and Jax. I don't watch them a lot, but I did find that. I think they were a random that came into my YouTube feed because I do follow gay creators, and they happen to get in.
They are definitely gay.
Yes, they're a couple. They live.
They're cute.
They're gorgeous. They're fitness models. They do OnlyFans. They're very jacked, very hot. They live in San Diego. Very beautiful couple.
Yeah.
They seem, they seem like, they would probably talk to you if you saw them on the streets.
Probably.
But they seem very nice. They made several videos. Like I said, I don't watch them a whole lot, but I've seen their content, and they are very entertaining. I've not seen their private content. I don't subscribe to OnlyFans, but they're worth it if you want to check them out for sure. Now, I do watch a couple of channels. One is called Stroll With Me, and the other one is called The Pedestrian. And I got onto them. There are two creators that do nothing but walk around San Francisco with their camera, their GoPro, whatever they use, and just film various sections of the city.
That sounds cool.
But there's no dialogue, there's no talking. All they do is walk and film. And because I love San Francisco. You love San Francisco.
I do.
But I'm just...
It takes you there.
It takes you there. And having not been there for like 2.5 years, it's really nice.
Fuck COVID, am I right?
Oh my God. It's nice to actually see the city again. Mm-hmm. They have been in places that I have been in, which is nice to see. They've been in places that I haven't been in yet. So I really enjoy them a lot. It can get a little tedious sitting there watching this person walk and saying nothing at all.
No dialogue.
No dialogue, no nothing. They're just walking and filming. But if you love San Francisco as much as I do, it's okay. You don't mind it so much. But I really, really enjoy those two channels just because I just get to see San Francisco, and it's just nice to be there again, even virtually.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And of course, we're going to wind up with another place we watch a lot of content, which is the Try Channel. Not to be confused with Try Guys. The Try Channel are the Irish people, You might have seen them. They used to be on a channel called Facts. And so I don't know what the split was called. But they just try stuff. Usually food and beverages. Yeah. Back in the earlier days of their channel a few years ago, they were doing some viewing of things and so on. But it's mostly people send them interesting...
Snacks
like someone from the state of Maine sent them a bunch of stuff for some reason. So they ate that and tried it, and they give their opinions on it.
Which doesn't sound as entertaining as it is, but it is very funny.
Because they're all, almost all of them are sort of large personalities, I would
Yeah,
say. And so
very.
that's really interesting to
Yeah.
watch all of them. There's 2 of them on screen at a time, right?
Yeah.
And so they're each trying. And so usually there's either 3 or 4 sets of them that are trying the same thing.
Right.
So then what's interesting is like maybe 3 of the 4 are like, oh, this is pretty nice. This is pretty nice. And the other 2, both independently of the other ones, are like, this is disgusting.
Awful.
I can't. Why would anyone eat this?
Right.
So it's very funny to watch them try all the different things they
Go
try.
check it out.
Go check it out.
It's a lot of fun.
And if you've enjoyed this wander through our YouTube history and discussion of who we like and who influences
Let us know.
Click subscribe for us, won't you please?
Subscribe.
He's getting annoyed by not having more subscribers. Click subscribe.
We can see that people are viewing, and we only have 2 subscribers.
So click subscribe.
You know, what's the deal here, peeps?
Not all of the views are us.
No.
Maybe some of them, but not all of them.
So please click subscribe, leave comments and questions down below.
Ring that bell.
Ring our bell, share these videos, and
let friends know about our channel.
Right. And help us build our community.
That's right.
Build our platform.
Yup. So remember to click subscribe and like and share and ring the bell.
And leave the bell.
Comment below and we will see you next
time.
Bye.